Welcome to the War Room, a weekly roundtable discussion that takes place every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in at 911warroom.com/Zoom.
Good afternoon, everybody. 502 911 War Room, Sunday, February 27th. First time we're going to try this live stream on Facebook. So if you're out on Facebook, go to 911warroom.com/Zoom and you can join in the chat or not.
Go
Just
to
be
Eastern
quiet.
time.
Eastern time, yes. Right now on Facebook, if you're hearing it, get on now.
Oh, look, that's quick.
There's Iola. No, that's funny. All right, so new news. What do we have? Let me share my screen.
If you see me swaying at all, it's because the wheel on my chair broke.
Oh.
So I'm like balancing myself on my chair.
So if you disappear from the screen, we know why.
Right, exactly.
We'll give it 10 seconds before we call 911.
I posted
Yes.
a couple of I posted a couple of the 9/11 news up in the 9/11 War Room Facebook group, and Kale posted some things, and you got to see the footage on this. It's unbelievable. He gets to live in this every day. I got to skip ahead here. This is crazy. Look at this Zoom footage or drone footage. Look at that water.
That's amazing.
Hey, thanks, Gene.
Right on, man. Look at this. Very nice, isn't it, out there? Look at that view. Anyway,
Gene,
you want to talk?
Gene, you're like, how do you do a convoy on the island?
I know.
There you go.
That's it.
We were in that convoy for 5 hours.
Did you go the whole way around the island, Oahu?
Yeah, we did the whole thing. It was awesome, actually.
Wow, nice. How long does that take?
Doing this here, look.
Right on. How long of a drive is that?
Actually, if you did it but nonstop, it's about 3 hours, right? Yeah, 2.5.
Wow.
3 hours, depends if you maybe do a couple stops, but you know, we went slow and then we stopped to use the bathroom and then regrouped. But we've done a few convoys. This is like our fifth one.
Nice.
But you know, the people are just amazing. It's the kids love it too. There's families. It's really awesome just to be a part of that.
Excellent.
And what were you wearing that day?
Of course, 9/11 truth. Everywhere I go. But yeah, we'll share more footage, and
excellent.
that channel actually on YouTube is a great one to subscribe to. They try to keep update their alt news out here on our current events, and the mainstream media, especially on the mainland, they don't really report what's going on out here in the island. It's our tension is really because we're right in the middle of two superpowers, so there's a lot of different political correctness going on and politics big time out here in Hawaii. So, but we're slowly learning how to work around that and just get the 9/11 truth all involved with that, you know. So I've met a lot of people throughout the years. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, right on. Thank you for sharing.
When your kids get a little bit older, they can have little presentations in class and stuff.
Oh, right. Right now, 2 years we've been homeschooling them. So when they finally get back into the indoctrination camps, they're going to be well prepared to deal with it, you know, the programming.
Hopefully I'm not breaking up. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yep.
So this is, we're having some items in the 9/11 War Room that blur outside the lines of just solely 9/11, but I think this is an important one. This headline come out, George W. Bush blast Putin for illegally invading Ukraine. Like the gall of the just unbelievable hypocrisy coming out of this man who invaded how many countries? Just, I don't know, I'm preaching to the choir there, but wow, there's some cojones to say that. That's that one. Kevin's 9/11 Kevin's video. So this is pretty crazy. After 20 years, a gentleman makes a YouTube channel, puts out this video. We're up to 221,000 views now. It had 63,000 on the first day, now to 220. He got this footage right around the 2-minute mark. We'll just skip ahead here. Find out he's Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Wesley, and who knows why he's pulled off all this time. So you're looking south here. So they're in Battery Park. Right there's the Statue of Liberty. They're at the south end of Manhattan Island, looking south right now. He's going to turn around and look north up the island and see the towers. But as he pans back, he hears a sound. Well, he went around that way. He looks back south. He'll start to hear a sound. I guess I'll put the sound on. So the question people are having is, why wait after 20 years to put this video out? Anybody have any initial reaction?
Oh, the hologram.
I guess we can end that one. I bet
Maybe he waited for retirement.
you would. They're still going to fight back on that. I don't know how, but yeah. No hologram, no CGI. I think that should be able to put that one to bed until somebody says, "What? A wing disappeared." And
Crowds reacting to the sound and turning and looking. Yeah.
So that's interesting you say that. Somebody, I forgot his name, called me out on that. There's a delay in the sound when the plane hits. So
Called Doppler effect.
yeah, it's the sound. It's 323 meters per second. It takes, I calculated, the height of the impact was roughly 241 meters up the building. This guy's standing 890 meters away. I did Pythagorean theorem, divided that into it, and got the time, and it's like 2.7 seconds it takes. That's when it slams in. There's the sound. Bam. It was like 2.5 seconds later the sound kicked in. And then there was another video that somebody, did I share that one?
Go to any war like footage where you see a bomb go off and you hear the concussion later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a simple one, but it's interesting why this came out so late. The gentleman, I guess, on Reddit had put out another post that talked about some secret military plan with drones. So now, yeah, as soon as you say drones, everyone's ears perk up again. Like, oh. That's another topic I think we should all mention. The confusion in words. We go aircraft, drone, remote controlled aircraft, plane,
Missile for the Pentagon.
even this plane could be termed a missile because some people believe the belly and the bottom of the and there was definitely a light that happened when that nose hit that, and I'm sorry that I don't know. We'll just say I don't know.
That's easily explained. That's high-speed friction.
I was gonna. Yeah, I don't know
it
about
happened on the
all-
F4. It happened on the F4 Phantom as well. When they had the test footage of the F4 Phantom crashing into the concrete barrier, same thing happened there.
What? I watched that. All right, we're gotta go there. I like this. F4 footage, concrete. Here we go.
It might be from a specific angle. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I dig it. Let's go to high settings, quality, 240. That's it. All right, this is gonna be hard.
Oh God.
We're gonna have to look for a better quality here because I don't think we're gonna see it. Oh, there it was. I'll be damned.
Right there was.
What?
It was. Go back to the other video.
Hang
Go
on.
back. Go back.
I'll find it because it definitely was there.
Yeah, well, it actually happened about because
Right
of
in
the,
between there.
right,
It's like,
keep going. Actually, you gotta
19.
play it with normal speed.
yeah. Right there. Did everybody see that
Right.
flash?
Right there, right here. Boom, right there. See it?
Oh, that?
I did not see it.
Well, go back again. Watch the nose of the aircraft.
Nose of the aircraft, it starts to crumple and then a flash goes off. Just the
Yes.
nose.
Okay, I may be seeing it at a different time you're seeing it because of the zoom delay, maybe.
Yeah. I wish I could catch that. I can't stop it.
Boom, right there.
Ah, but
Yeah.
the plane's halfway in by the time that flash goes off.
There it was.
No, that's an illusion because the footage is so traveling is so slow, so it's not. It
Yeah,
takes
no,
it takes fractions of a second for it to react.
There it is.
So because the footage is so slow, you're going to get that delay.
And
But
what's
then you
this
would get a
effect
delay on
called?
everything.
Well, you do. See right there. You see the
So
flash
then that
right there.
delay is happening at the same time as all the other delays. Like to me, like from the other footage from the plane hitting the tower, the flash clearly happens for
Okay,
a
here's some
fraction of a
valuable.
second before it hits, right?
Here's
It
some
happened
I
on
valuable.
agree,
impact.
before impact, before.
Here's some valuable information. So let's say we want to look at this and we wanted to see the flash. This is how you can more accurately do this. This is actually really cool. It's a good activist tip online if you're an online
By the
person.
way, there's technical papers written on this phenomenon. It's that's non 9/11 related, but
I
it
dig it.
deals with
Thank you, Ed.
I can't really call it. It's just
I'm going to grab this URL up here. I'm going to control C to copy it. I'm going to open up a new tab and go to, you could look it up. It's hard to find. I'll just say YouTube yt5s.org, I think it is. No, .com. yt5s.com. I want to do this quick. All right, that's not it. Where is it? YT.
You have another T there. Oh, no, yeah, you have like TYT.
There it is.
Yeah.
I got 5 minutes. Post that in here. It allows you to download any YouTube video. So I want to download it. Here's it. I look for the highest resolution, which unfortunately is only 360 pixels. I get the link. I download it. Wherever you want to download it. Later on, I'll file it to have, but I'm just going to file it to my desktop. Save. Another program you guys should get if you're online activists is DaVinci Resolve. It is a free video editor that's used. I wish I could drag the opening screen. It's used by professional movies companies. They allow you to use it for free because it benefits them for people to learn how to use this. So I'm going to open a new project. Oops, bring it over here. This is really cool.
I know DaVinci well.
Do you?
Yeah,
Awesome. So,
actually, no, I know all the guys from Black Magic.
wow. I'm going to file import media and I'm going to go to my desktop and grab that video.
Actually, the other guy who designed the software.
Oh, well, change the frame rate, however the movie was made, let it stay that. So I'm going to drag this down into the clip. Now we can edit it. And now I can drag this time head. And now we could actually go like perfectly.
And go frame by frame?
Frame by frame. Right? There was the flash. Bam. Let me zoom in. How do I make this bigger, Ed? Guess that's as big as I can make it. I should be able to use my mouse wheel. Whoops, too much. Right. Boom. You guys see that flash right there?
That one, yeah. Yeah, the plane's already in the building or
Well,
in the block.
something definitely flashes when it hits. Anyways, I probably beat this horse dead, but he's got something there. What else would that be? The engine, it's the cockpit by then. Okay, even if it is like 3 feet, 2 feet into the plane before it makes that flash, there's a dispersion of energy there that's
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
you're muted, brother.
It's going to take a certain amount of time for the energy to release versus the speed at which the plane is impacting the barrier.
At
So
500
you got to
miles an
calculate
hour.
that.
Yeah, 500
Yeah.
miles an hour is a.
So that nose is going to go in there quicker than the actual flash is going to present itself, I guess you could say.
Yep, pretty cool. Anyways, there's a little DaVinci Resolve, unbelievable. One of these huge downloads that you can get in free. Let's see. I should.
Guys, do planes have batteries like in a car? I know that's kind of a funny question, but do
Yes,
they have
they do.
a battery here?
There
Yeah.
are, yes, there is. When I was, I don't know if anybody can speak this better than I can. I don't know, but when I was in the Air Force, I know there's different systems or different batteries for different systems. In fact, we were trained on KC-10s, for example, when we were part of our emergency services team, if a plane gets hijacked, on how to actually disconnect the battery from the inside near the fuel cell. So there are batteries in there and they power different systems. I don't know specifically what, but there are certain batteries within those planes.
This is
So
awesome.
that looks like what it looks like where
So you're breaking up.
just like the other. Oh, it looks like it's right below the cockpit where maybe all the components would be and everything, the electronics. I don't know. I don't know where.
I don't know if there's a battery there. I know that on the KC-10
Yeah.
it was in the belly, right by the wing. It was actually really easy access when you open the door right there to get access to fuel cells, because the KC-10's a refueler. You have these huge cube-shaped fuel cells, and the battery is like right there. Big fat cables on it for a lot of power going through it. But yeah, I don't know where there's if they are on F4s. I know someone who knows, because they.
All right. Well, I prayed. I hope you all did.
we had a moment of silence.
Yes, you did, literally. That's hilarious. All right, next in the news, what did
Hold
we...
on, just wanna, sorry, are you making me co-host just in case?
Yeah, yes, thank you. Let me redo that. No, you still are.
Okay, perfect. Sorry.
You're good. Go to screen 2. Let's hope that it won't crash again. So yeah, we had the Kevin Wesley video we discussed. Oh, here was this other video. So he was part of a program with the Army, which I guess there's a drone plane in that hangar, and he was also involved in drone programs, secret drone programs, remote control. Looks just like a plane. So that's that. Oh, this is pretty good. FDNY firefighter awarded a $2.5 million lawsuit in a 9/11 cancer lawsuit. They actually emailed Christopher Joya if he knows him or anybody that could reach out to him, not for money, but if the guy is involved or has any knowledge of truth and wants to get active, that would be a great person to activate. Somebody sitting on $2.5 million if he's not spending it all on his cancer fight. Anyone have any comments on that? Right on. Next. Oh, here was that other video. The time that it would take for the sound to get from this guy to the ground is 1.7 seconds. So there are delays in the sound hitting the face of the building, and that's only, what is that effect called there, Ed? You're muted. There's a
Doppler.
Doppler effect. Thank you, Sean. And you're still muted, Ed.
Damn, it's not exactly Doppler effect. That's when like you're standing in one place and then like a train goes by and it's like you hear it coming and it gets louder and louder and then it goes away as it goes further away. That's the Doppler effect. But the I don't know what you call it just in this situation. It's just sound travels faster, or light travels faster than sound. So you're gonna see it before you hear it.
Just the speed of sound. That's all.
Mhm.
If you ever played racquetball, that's pretty good. And then we got back. My computer just keeps crashing, so this might not be going well. Are you guys still? Well, Sandra, if you would pick it up and continue on with news while I reboot my computer, because I don't. This is just going to be awful.
How am I gonna
Is
continue?
DaVinci-
with- I have no news items. You are the news items.
Is DaVinci still open on your computer?
I closed that. What happened was you were talking about battery in the commercial airliners, and I had downloaded Flight Gear. If you've seen some of my posts, it's a 1.8 gig download. It's a flight simulator you can get for free, open source. And I downloaded the 757-200, and I was gonna show you the instrument control panel. I was up till like 4 a.m. last night because I wanted to get a 757 off the ground in under 2 minutes, and I can do it. You got all these overhead switches. You got to do them. You have to turn on the auxiliary power and that whole system, and then fire up the bleed and all these other systems, fuel pumps and hydraulics. And once you get them all in that order, then you shut the air auxiliary power down, and then you're ready to flaps, 3/4, full throttle, and let loose the e-brake, and you're rolling down the freaking. I could take one off. I have a really good feeling I could get one off the ground if it was sitting on the runway. But then I'd be screwed because I'm not gonna be able to land. Anyway, I wanted to say that there was a battery system in that fires up the entire dashboard for the pilots, and getting all the other systems up, and then they can shut off that battery system. But auxiliary power unit. Look at that. I know
APU.
APU.
Remember now, the APU sits in the rear of the aircraft. And that APU has a door in order to access it. The APU door is one of the pieces of debris that was found on the Pentagon lawn.
Oh, get out.
Yeah.
Check that out. So now we got to show
Yeah.
this because this is pretty good. Let me share screen too. Let's see. Boeing 757 APU images. Oh, look at that. It's in the buttocks of the plane. Wish I could show you. Oh man, I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry. One last try. I wanted to show you the dashboard. Here it is. It's not looking up. In the simulator, you can look up on that whole instrument panel over the pilot's head. Anyways, it'd be neat to show you, but I can't do it. Also news, Richard Gage. He interviewed a gentleman. I did not listen to this one either yet. I started listening to Dan Hanley's. Did anybody listen to the new one with Richard? Okay. I don't even know the gentleman's name. That's bad. I gotta find this. First page.
Yeah, it's that first one, yeah.
No, this is his new. This is what's coming up. This is one everyone should know. Oh, look, he's gonna. He's finally advertising it. So this is new news. This March 19th, 17th, March 19th.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday, whatever the Saturday is there. 9/11 con, the Pentagon. Newest edition, Terry Mason. Well, Chandra can say it right. I just say Terry Mason. Him, Barbara Honegger, Craig McKee, David Chandler, and Wayne Costy. I would hope some of those people have people in their ear to make this beneficial for us, so that people are saying, well, you should have said blah, blah, blah. And it really should have some other people in there as well. But this is a great start. This hasn't happened ever in the 9/11 truth movement in 20 years. So much needed. Richard's the guy to do it, to talk us through it. As I said before, he's going to sleep really good that night, because that's going to be exhausting mentally.
Yeah, it's like 10 hours, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's,
Just the heaviness of the conversation and trying to take it all in, and how controversial and adversarial it is. And oh my
yeah, and I
goodness.
really, really hope that, I mean, I mean, the biggest thing that can come from this is at the end, if they can, you know, answer questions and objections and things that, you know, contradictions or whatever, because we pretty much all know everybody's theories. We're going to know them a lot more in detail, which is good. But at the end of the day, what you really need is to push them one up against the other, each theory.
Mm-hmm.
And does one exclude the other? Does one explain something that the other one doesn't explain? Does one have evidence that the other one doesn't have? So to me, it's really going to be at the end when you actually stack them up against each other or try to combine them or whatever the case may be, that we can actually get to some kind of, you know, I don't know, some kind of, not a conclusion, because I don't think people are so set in their ways, but maybe people will evaluate things differently, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
see.
Ziola, you're muted.
Oh, there we go. Okay, going back to your flight simulator stuff.
Oh.
I think it would be really, really cool. Well, I'm looking forward to this too, that this is going to be great. This is going to be excellent. Have a marathon on Saturday. But there's back to the flight simulator stuff. I think it would be really cool if you had Dan Hanley on and we all took a flight together one of these days. Wouldn't that be a blast?
I thought about that actually, falling asleep last night. I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, maybe.
That would be so cool, because he could show you the ins and outs of all that stuff, like all that stuff you have to do. He might be able to help you on that. And then also, so there'd be two of you. Somebody could do the captain's speech.
Right. That would be
That'd be
interesting, because
fun.
I did ask him. So this is interesting. I was looking for the footage. I knew I had seen it somewhere of a pilot teaching somebody in a simulator, because I had asked Dan Hanley years ago, hey, have you ever flown in a simulator? Like, I want to see record a bunch of pilots trying the simulator thing. He said that somebody did it, and I could not find the clip because copyright infringement. Turner blocked them all. The ones that were on Dan's site, everyone's site, they shut them down. So I looked and looked on Pilots for 9/11 Truth's website. There was an old thread in the forum, and it mentioned Rob Balsamo and Dwayne Dietz met with Jesse Ventura to do an episode. And I thought, oh, there's my clue. So I went and looked, and sure enough, an episode of Jesse Ventura. And I was wondering who the eyeglasses and the guy was. It was Rob Balsamo wearing his sunglasses. He and I didn't get along. He mother effed me right off the bat, but he did a good point there. They had they had one gentleman fly in the simulator. The pilot himself wasn't seen flying the simulator, but he said that he couldn't do it. So I guess he must have flown it. I really wish we could string a whole bunch of pilots trying these simulators to see if they could do these things that Dan Hanley and other people.
Here's the funny thing about that. There was another some program that was showing the antithesis to that, and they brought somebody who was an 9/11 truther into the simulator and to show if he can do it or not, and he was able to do it.
Interesting.
Which opened his mind up to the possibility that there were actually hijackers in planes. So there's the antithesis to that whole idea. So I don't know where that's going to take, where that would take us. But anyway, just a little tidbit there. Also, what I somehow lost my connection right when you're showing the lawyer committee stuff. What was have there been a decision yet, or any findings yet?
No, actually, we're still waiting on hearing what exactly we're supposed to be looking for.
Okay.
What the heck was I looking for? The scroll down real quick.
I also uploaded a picture of the APU door that was debris on the Pentagon lawn.
Thank you. Dang it, I lost. I was searching for some video of, what were we talking about? I lost my train of thought.
Sorry about that.
Flight simulator.
No, that wasn't.
Oh, darn it.
Thank you, though.
It's all fun and games until you crash into the Pentagon, Gene.
Yeah, I did find that though. That wasn't what I wanted to share, but this is show you the instrument panel. Amazing. You have all these controls. Oops. Wanted to look up. Look up there. There's a series of like 15 switches you have to throw in a certain order, and then you can get the thing, pop the e-brake and get rolling down the runway. But that's not what I wanted to show. I digress. Drats. Stop my share. Anything else? News? Richard Gage, Pentagon, the 9/11 Pentagon series coming up. Kale, go ahead.
Yeah, with Richard Gage, I don't know if I caught this right or not. I forgot to go back and look into it. But did he post something about Spike Lee picking this back up
Yes, thank you for that.
and actually going? Yeah. And then
Hope you're breaking up really bad,
simulator.
brother.
Oh, am I?
There you go. You're
How about
coming back.
now? Better?
Yeah.
Comes
then
and
I have a
goes, Kel.
question- I have a question for Ed. If he has a link to the video or any kind of audio or transcript of the 9/11 truther with that pilot, proving that he could actually do that.
You know, I'm glad you asked that. I went looking for that. I saw it probably about,
That's what I
I
was
don't know,
looking
probably
for.
I was probably looking for like 4 or 5 years. I saw it like 4 or 5 years ago, and about 6 months ago I went looking for it again, but I cannot find it to save my life. I don't know what even. I tried looking up all kinds of different searches and stuff like that, but I just could not find it to save my life, and just scrolled through and could not
That
find it. The guy,
idea,
Okay, but
the
can I just,
idea, Rose, is awesome for us to all take a flight with Captain Dan Hanley. That would be awesome. But yeah, that's interesting. If we could, that's just interesting. I never heard that one before, but yeah, and on the Spike Lee, that's pretty awesome if that's happening.
Yes. Here's the
okay, but can,
episode.
just to put things in perspective, I have heard dozens and dozens of pilots with thousands and thousands of flight hours logged, who all said that they could not have pulled that maneuver. So just because one person that we can't find right now is saying that he could have pulled it off,
Right.
to me, that doesn't destroy the argument by a long shot. And it's, I mean, can we just look at the big picture? I'm going to trust all of these pilots who are officially on record stating that they could have never pulled it off. And let's not forget that Hani Hanjour was a piss poor pilot. So he doesn't even go anywhere near the
What?
ranks of these people.
Right here.
yeah, but
Exactly, Sandra. I'm with you on that.
But remember, there's evidence of 6 hijackers on the plane, and the FBI didn't account for that 6th one. He could have been the pilot.
But regardless, I mean, to me, that's like picking, like, that's really splitting the hair
You
so
can't- you
many
can't-
times.
All
But
I'm
you can't
saying
ignore
is that
it.
we don't have enough. There still is not this long list of pilots that are flying it. I just
But
want to.
at the end of the day, don't we, I mean, isn't there like some kind of agreement that, these planes
I
are all
got one of
taken
my-
over remotely anyway? I mean,
Well, here's the thing. One of my very good friends I meet with actually I met him for lunch yesterday. He's a TWA pilot. He's also a pilot in Vietnam. He doesn't have any issue with it. I've asked him about it. And it's And there's, I mean, you're gonna find pilots on both sides. And I also don't know specifically, I mean, if I were to ask each one of these pilots specifically, what maneuver are they talking about? How well are they versed on the actual maneuver itself and the specific altitude and turn radius and all that stuff? How much knowledge do they have on the specifics of the actual maneuver versus just having a generalized knowledge of the maneuver and just making it and just going by what they heard? Or in other words, you gotta really parse it out with everyone who makes any sort of claim. And so I don't know what all these thousands of pilots know with
One's
respect to
gonna
that
off the
maneuver.
ground in 2 minutes flat. If you hear the alarm go,
Well,
sorry, I didn't do it.
Because to me, the whole maneuver didn't seem that complicated. It's just a turn of the yoke and a push forward. It was not. It doesn't
Well,
seem
it's
to be
not
that
just the
difficult.
maneuver, it's how the plane hit and how close to the ground it was and how specifically targeted it was. It's 100 different things. It's not just the loop.
Right, but I
It's
don't see any issue with that either. It's
pretty
just like
impossible.
lining up a aircraft with the runway. You know, you use there's you can point an aircraft in a direction and make it fly that direction. It's a question of
Well, that's
you know,
also what I could tell you, and what you see in this simulator here is what I was trying to show. While he's flying this, talk about driving a station wagon like a boat. This thing is the
Mhm.
boat of boats. You move the yoke, and it delays so long, and then you overcompensate. Like if you ever done a fishtail, this thing will overcompensate, and you'll see it right here in the video. He starts losing it, and he's bobbing back and forth from left to right, and then the next thing you know, he pitches too far. And that's what they were saying at 500 miles an hour coming in there.
well, how much training did these guys have in how much training did these guys have?
Well, this guy didn't that's flying in this episode, but that pilot that was there with him said he couldn't do it. Rob Balsamo says he can't do it. Dan Hanley says he can't do it. These guys have 20,000 hours. Dan Hanley has
Right.
20 to 30,000 hours flying both the 757 and the 767.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I know we're gonna have contrarian views, but I think we just
Way
still need
more than some
we need a few more.
supposed hijackers.
We need a lot more people. I think as pilots need to step up. We need to hear like hundreds of pilots say I couldn't do it, or hundreds of pilots say they could do it. I just would like to see them in the simulator. I don't know why it would be so difficult to get pilots lining up that believe that there should be questions and go try to fly the flight path that the flight data recorder says. So anyway, oh, and then you mentioned, Kale, what was the other thing that we wanted to talk about? The new news item.
Oh,
Yes.
the Richard Gage on Spike Lee.
Likely, yeah.
Yeah.
But just before you go to that, because Al's had his hand up, I don't know if he's still wanting to weigh in on,
Oh, please do. Oh,
I don't know, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, Ed,
If-
I'm just wondering if you've tried to reach out to Dan Hanley with your observations. He's more than.
I reached out to Bob Osamo when he's alive, but he was a big FU type of guy too with me. Didn't play well with others, I guess. But let me ask you a quick question here because it's just interesting. If a pilot could not do that maneuver in the cockpit, then how could you have done the maneuver remote from a remote control? Because you have to do the same maneuver.
well, remote control, the computer's doing it. You just program the flight path and it flies it. It's not like
Well,
it's a
then why
person.
couldn't it be? Well, not exactly, because you have a revving of the engines at the last seconds of before impact.
Well, maybe it
you
had
had
to
to-
compensate, I
But
don't
what
know.
I'm saying is, it's bottom line is if you can't do, you can program the darn plane in the cockpit, or you can program it on the ground. You can
Well,
fly
you know
it.
what? I would compare it to playing chess against a computer.
Right.
A computer can think like 150
Ahead.
moves ahead and can line up every single fraction of a move exactly the way it needs to be for every probability of situation, right?
I mean, if the
And
wind
But
the
it has
best
to be
chess
but it
player
has-
in the world.
but
the
it has
wind-
to be programmed to do that. It has to be programmed to fly into the Pentagon.
And if the
And you have to
wind's
know
blowing,
all the calculations to input into the computer in order
Yeah.
to know how to do that.
and if the wind's
You have to
blowing so
calculate,
far that
you
it
have
has
to program.
if the wind's blowing so far that it has to overcompensate at the last second, I'm sure that's in the GPS, so it's pushing off.
But that's
the line.
built into the aircrafts anyway. All the trim controls, things like that, all that stuff. The computers take over most those controls anyway, and compensates for a lot of those controls, even in a manual flight setting.
Well, you
That's
can't
why
say that the
the
human
Boeing,
factor doesn't change.
the Boeing plane that crashed because of the trim problem, that was the reason why it crashed was because it was overcompensating based on but it was a programmed function, and these planes are very, very sophisticated, and I just I look at the maneuver and I look at I mean, bottom line is they were flying planes manually before the computers. I mean, they were putting it on a point on the earth called a runway. So if you look at the Pentagon wall as a point on the earth like a runway, you practice hitting that all the time. So it's just a question of converging points of space, and that's what pilots do. So I don't know why these pilots have a problem. Like, I couldn't have done that. It's like, what couldn't you have done? What maneuver could you not have done? What part of it could you not have put it on that point, or could you not have made the turn? What is it exactly could you not have done? Yeah, that's what I would be curious to know.
Comprehensively, it's not specifically, yeah, it's a good curious thing, but comprehensively, they couldn't, ultimately, they say they couldn't do it, whether it was a turn or with a point, or they just couldn't do it.
Well, they would, why not? That's my question.
Well,
What was
obviously
the
they have a
problem?
reason, and if you ask them specifically, maybe you could get a couple of answers from someone like Dan
Good
Hanley.
question. I
And
wish
just-
Dan would push on that, because it would be nice to see more, just like the firefighters, more guys speak out. Yeah, anyway.
Plus, with what Richard's doing will help bring this to light.
Mhm.
Because from what we've learned, the turn that had to be made, those things are aluminum. Those wings would have snapped.
They wouldn't
Kind
have
of
though.
banking
They
they
were
needing to
they
do
were
and the
completely
speeds.
they were completely within the safety margin. I did all this work a long time ago.
I
I even
did
called
pursue
Boeing
that.
engineers.
I looked that up too with a flight engineer from Boeing, structural engineer, and he said it was within the factors of margin, like 4 times
Right.
or whatever. It was within, it would have stayed, but it definitely would have pushed it. Rob Balsamo, though, completely disagrees. He said absolutely not. And he brought up the charts and everything, said it would have blown to pieces. So there's still a battle on that one. But
Maybe at some point, but at the same time, if it continued on its flight path, at some point the stresses would have given way. But you need a certain amount of time before that can happen. But it crashed into the Pentagon before it could actually that could have total catastrophic failure like that.
right.
So it's
These are topics that need discussed still, flushed out.
Mhm.
Back on this, Spike Lee defends 9/11 truth, declares no choice. He had no choice to make it. Where is the news article? I think he had it here. So then why did you decide to make the cuts ultimately? Well, I really wasn't given a choice, to be honest. By HBO, or I wasn't given a choice, but that too shall pass. I'll leave it at that. So let's discuss real quick. This is the key phrase, but that too shall pass. Does that mean he is something's going to come of it, or is it that this is just all going to die and go away?
they'll probably put out a director's cut.
Yeah, so on that note, when films get sent out to people for reviewers and that before the film's released, they're called screeners, and they're kept on very tight security of not losing them so it doesn't get out. But all the hackers back in the day with torrents and all that would be able to get a hold of these screeners and rip them, it's called, and get them out. So I had seen Castaway with Tom Hanks like months before it came out in theaters. But I was really hoping, as hot as this subject is, that there would be a rip of those screeners that Slate got to see. But no, it's still tight. I went to Pirate Bay and all the old torrent places, and nobody had. They have the web rips from HBO and stuff, but there's no screener rips. We'll hope that Spike does something.
Yeah. I posted the meme that you redid with the article.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically posted it as vindication because I feel that HBO would have pulled it no matter what. I think they would have asked him to not air it and cut it out of the segment. I posted it as in vindication, and Craig asked me, like, how does this confirm that it's not Richard's comments who led to this? And at the end of the day, Spike is basically saying that he was forced to take it out, but we still don't know the actual reasons why they wanted him to take it out.
Good
So
point.
did they, and I mean, that's just basically based on the little information we have. It could be that it's technically still possible that HBO found out about his anti-COVID comments and felt like the association was bad and therefore made him take it out. Or it could just be that HBO just looked at it and said, no, we don't want this airing. And then they just went to dig up some dirt and found something that was a convenient excuse, and everything got blamed on that. So in some ways, we still don't really know what the actual reason was. And I'd like to know.
I made a meme because he says 99% of the stuff he said is right on here, but then they always throw in that one thing that just makes you go, oh man, why'd you gotta go that far? You know? In this explanation, he said, thank you for asking the question. Just because somebody says, oh wait, here, let me go back. The original cut, you cut it out. So I wanted to ask why you chose to include them. Let me start again. Reportedly featured debunked 9/11 conspiracy theories, and you caught a lot of flack for including them. Thanks for asking. Just because somebody says it's debunked does not mean it's not true. The Warren Commission said the motherfucking magical bullet did a 360 change midair and killed. And that was bullet and assassinated JFK. It defies physics. Bullets don't do that. Just because somebody says debunked does not mean it's false. I mean, and they just were like, I deleted the last sentence. Like, why'd you gotta say that? I mean, even if it might be true, just, I mean, I was taught in school that motherfucking terrorist Christopher Columbus discovered America. Like, he just went like, I think he pushed it a little too far, and he did it somewhere else in this article too. The last sentence, it's like, why did you gotta? Oh, he says,
He went full Howard Zinn on that one.
he says, they're trying to include me in with the unvaccinated people and the insurrectionists of January 6th. I'm like, did you really got to throw all that in there too? Couldn't have just kept it simple? Like, I don't know. Who knows what Spike will do? On a funny front, if I didn't share this last time, I think this is hilarious. Let me just share it again. There is a 75% facial similarity between Spike Lee and Eunice Lee, which is one of the 3 judges right now in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, making a decision on whether we have a First Amendment right to present evidence to a grand jury. It's not just the glasses, it's like the nose and the mouth. It's just, man, it looks a lot like. So Spike was born in 56. He had other brothers and sister, born in 60, 62, 67. She was born in 70, and Spike's mom died in 76. So it's, things that make you go, I don't know. Do the right thing. I hope he does the right thing. Wouldn't that be something for 9/11 truth?
And on that note, I'm trying to see with Richard if he can get us some kind of public contact information, not asking him to give Spike Lee's private information, obviously, but if there's his agency or whatever, because I think this would be a really good time for us to reach out to him and support him and encourage him to keep on, looking at 9/11, and if he feels compelled to get involved to do that, or to say his 2 cents in public, or whatever he can do, because he still carries so much weight. And so I'd like to, for the month of March, have that be some of the things that we do, that we reach out to people like him and William Hurt, Woody Harrelson in the celebrities category, continue doing senators and representatives for politics, and reach out to podcasters and people who do interviews like Joe Rogan and Dr. Carlson, and anyone who might have the courage to address it, or invite Rich or someone else to speak.
Thank you for that. Anybody else?
Kale's had his hand up.
Gail, rock on. What do you got?
Fighter jet move. Yeah, it's kind of like how you're saying, why do you have to say that? If you remember back, Charlie Sheen totally came out with it and was addressing the president, but then all of a sudden he was character assassinated, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know what they're told, what their handlers are telling them to say behind the scenes, But
Yeah.
Totally with you, Sandra.
Yep.
Totally with you.
Anyone else could think of new things that have happened in the last week for 9/11 that we should all get everybody on the same page?
Gene, I had in our meeting, one of our members, Richard Krishnick, is all gung-ho about getting a hold of Mick Harrison and helping him with the trying to talk to the contractors.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I'm hoping that I told him to send him an email, but I don't know if there's any direct way. I forgot what Mick said about getting a hold of him.
Yeah, anytime. Let me get Mick's email here address for everybody.
Yeah, Mick was basically insisting on the fact that he remained the central contact point for all these legal initiatives. He doesn't want us reaching out to other people or sidestepping or overstepping. He's happy to be the person to receive any questions or requests.
Everybody can contact Mick Harrison, litigation director for the Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry, at mickharrisonesq@gmail.com. And on that note, I am proceeding with Mick on my FOIA request at the Pentagon for all videos within 1 mile of the Pentagon. And we're also going to move forward with a grand jury at the state level. It's the first it will have been done in Pennsylvania. And I'm hoping to eventually approach Bob McIlvaine, because he's from Pennsylvania, and Cyril Wecht, internationally known forensic pathologist that was part of the autopsy of JFK. He's also in Pennsylvania, big Pittsburgh, Allegheny County guy. I've been seeing just a couple of his shows. Spoke to him a couple times, even have my photo with him at the annual cannabis medical cannabis thing every year. And he still says to the day, 40,000 autopsies he's performed and 20,000 other ones he's looked over. He's never signed out a death warrant due to cannabis. So that's a side note, but it's amazing to know this guy. He was part of JFK autopsy. He, for that.
Real
Amazing
quick, with respect to the FOIA request for the videos, I understand that they came back and were saying that they don't know what videos were, they don't know what videos were within 1 mile, because they don't know what is within 1 mile of the Pentagon. Is that what they said?
It was more the timestamp that they don't have the timestamp
more the
for
timestamp.
everything, so they couldn't. I got too specific. Again, I think we might have said this before, but for everyone's benefit, they said normally when they get FOIA requests back, it's because they weren't specific enough. But he said it's odd in this case because I was so specific. And basically now we just want to say we want those videos, those 100 videos. So we'll move forward with that. If it has to go to litigation, lawsuit, it will. I've retained Mick. And we're going to move on with the state level. On the state level, that's interesting because he brought something up that I didn't know. We're going to try 4 different things. You can either...
So there's 4 different possibilities of how to go about it.
Yeah, you can go to a judge for a grand jury in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. I can go through the U.S. attorney for a federal grand jury in Pennsylvania, or the U.S. attorney for a grand jury in Pennsylvania. I can go to a state prosecutor for a grand jury in Pennsylvania, or I can go to a PA state judge. So there's 4 different ways. Yeah, it confused me, but there's 4 separate. We might even.
And we don't
approach
even
it.
know what the difference is, right?
Not really. And I even mentioned you, Ed, because you've done something. What was it? What was the law you were trying to push on them?
Yeah, that misprision of felony.
Thank you. Let me write that. I couldn't remember what it's called.
He was trying to remember so hard.
Felony.
Yeah, there's misprision of treason and misprision of felony.
Okay, and he basically walked into a judge and said, "Hey, I'm making you aware of a crime, and you're now basically culpable if you don't investigate it."
Right, and there's basically it's the whole idea is that if you have knowledge of a crime that's been committed, and you don't report it to a judge or someone of competent jurisdiction that's listed in the statute, then you can be found guilty of the crime.
Wow.
A misprision of felony or misprision of treason. So I'm like, well, I don't want to be a criminal. So that's what happened when I walked in. Judge Leland Harris was his name, and it was just a funny experience because I don't think anybody's ever done that before.
No.
So he was very confused. But when I gave him the statutes, it was like,
that's awesome.
Okay, all right. What's your name? Put it all on the record. And I got to talk about William Rodriguez's stuff and his I got to talk about the nanothermite report. I submitted that to the judge, and I think it was the first time the actual nanothermite report was actually put on a court record. Then he's like, "What?" And the funny question was, "Well, what do you want me to do with this information?" I said, because he hadn't had time to look it over or anything. I said, "Well, whatever it is you're legally required to do."
Nice.
So he understood that and was like, "All right, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it." I was like, "All right," and that was it. But
And
something
how long
simple,
ago was that?
Oh gosh, had to been around 2000 and I have to look, but probably around 2008, 2009.
Oh, wow.
You sent me, didn't I beg you for that information and you sent it to me? What you did? Like, I wanted to see the actual, like, what you filed.
The article, our date on the article will give you the date. You're asking me dates, I can't remember shit anymore.
So,
But
so what came of it then?
well, that was it. That's all I knew what to do. I did. I
Okay,
don't know
but
what
couldn't you follow up with him and see if he did his duty of?
Well, I don't know because the statute's not clear with that. So so I don't know. I don't know how to follow up because you'd have to have another hearing before the court. But that I got in that hearing just because I was statutorily required to be
Right.
there. And in a follow up, I'm not statutorily required, and it wouldn't allow you in the court to do business with the judge unless you have actual like a case number or something like that. So I don't know if that's a follow up is allowed in that situation. But it's and I wouldn't have known. It's like all I knew was let me see how far I can get here because it was kind of a crapshoot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got that far, so I'm like, all right, cool. And let's see what happens. And then so much time goes by, you get busy with other things.
Right, but I mean, there's no reason that it can't be followed up. I mean, there is no statute.
There's no case number. There's no case number though. I don't even know how to reference it.
Well, it's got to be on record somewhere.
Yeah.
It's somewhere. But I wouldn't have no idea how to reference it.
But it just sucks that you made it that far and that.
I know. But it was also interesting to see what he would do. It's like, all right, is he going to do something? And either did or didn't, I don't know.
I think we should still pursue that, or you should pursue that. Or,
why don't you ask Mick Harrison?
Yeah.
I could. I think we talked briefly about it, but yeah, I guess we could probably ask.
I really think
why not?
You got it, because you're like, I don't understand why no other state has done that. I don't know why Bob McIlvain hasn't tried to do something like this.
Right.
In Pennsylvania.
Or any of us, really. I mean, what stops us?
Now here's another avenue that I think you should definitely look at. This is something that Harvard scholar Dr. Edwin Vieira talks about. He talked about 18 USC 241, 242, which are, it's a criminal violation for violations of constitutional rights under color of law. So if you have a prosecutor who is prohibiting information, a petition for redress to be given to a grand jury and under color of law, then he then he is in violation, because that's a violation of a constitutional right, First Amendment.
Yep.
Then he'd be in violation of 18 USC 241.
Well-
So which you can look. I'll send you what that means.
Is that a
based-
federal statute?
Yes, it is.
Well, then why isn't Mick using that one too? I don't understand.
Right.
18.
Yeah, these 18 USC 241, 242 is like our legal remedy for violations of rights, but nobody uses it because, well,
Huh.
government officials don't want people to know about this stuff.
Conspiracy against rights. If two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district, free exercise of enjoyment of any legal right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, because of having they shall be filed under 10, imprisoned not for more than 10 years or both, fined under this title or imprisoned. And if death results from the acts committed in violation of this section or such acts, including kidnapping, blah, 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 they shall be fined under this title, imprisoned for any term of the years for their life or both, and may be sentenced to death. Oh shit. Well, look at
And
that. No, it's
and
not
look up-
against us. The problem is that
No.
the death resulting would have to result, as I'm understanding from Mick saying, would have to happen to, well, how would that happen? We weren't injured by
Well,
somebody.
read the statute there. It says they shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both, and if death results from the act committed in violation.
The violation.
So if death results from the violation, so they're acknowledging that, hey, there's a violation.
Yeah.
If there's a violation, you can be sentenced for 10 years or fined.
Yeah, but
But if death occurs,
death
then
occurs over preventing us our constitutional right, not death
well,
involved
that
in
wouldn't
9/11.
that portion wouldn't be applicable to our case.
Yeah,
It's just that the fact that they are violating, they're
Yeah.
conspiring to violate the First Amendment right to petition for redress.
yeah.
And as a result, they shall be fined under this title.
Yep. This is it. This is a
And-
gold mine.
And 242 as well is another one.
All right, let's go there. 242.
Trying to remember that one specifically. It's a little,
Deprivation of rights under color of
Yes.
law. Whoever under code of law willfully subjects any person, blah, 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 to deprivation of any rights, privileges, immunity, secured protection, constitutional laws on account of such person being alien or by his color or race, bodily injury. Death results, basically the same thing, I think.
yeah, so Mick Rest could read these two statutes and give you a really good analysis of the distinction between the two.
All right. Excellent.
But-
Thank you for that.
But yeah,
Way to go, Ed. See? Come on, Ed. What else?
Oh, Carola's had her hand up for a really long time.
Oh, please go for it.
Yeah, I was just wondering if anybody had a chance to get the homework that Mick Harrison gave us together and send out an email blast on that. I had taken notes that day, but I didn't get a chance to follow through. I sent it to Sandra and she said she was going to edit it to her needs and then follow through on that. And I was just wondering if you had a chance to do that, Sandra, or
I
if you
did.
wanted some help on that. 'cause
No,
I could-
thank you. I
can help
used your notes. I merged them with the notes that I took during the call. I wrote 2 draft emails to Mick. The first one that was very short, the second one that was more expanded, so that he wouldn't have to do all the legwork. And he said that he would edit it and get back to me. And he hasn't done it yet. And when I pressed again, he told me basically not to worry, that he was on it. And I said, but you said we only had 10 days for the first portion of it. And that was 2 weeks ago at this point. So we're clearly beyond the 10 days. And I'm not really sure why it's taking this long. I guess maybe he didn't really want our help so much for the first part where we had a shorter time frame than maybe for the second part where we have a bit more time. So from what I'm understanding, he wants to make sure that it's worded right and specifically so that we know what to be looking for. And so it's in his hands. Ball's in his court. I'm just waiting to hear back from him.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for the notes.
You're welcome.
That's it for Zeola. I think Richard Gage has his founders meeting coming up at 7 o'clock. I think what else? Anything else? Anybody? New things this week? The 9/11 that we all need to be aware
Ideas,
of.
suggestions. Al, I sent you the information you were looking for. I don't know if you got the,
I just saw it come in. I haven't looked at it yet. so-
okay,
But thank you for that.
you're welcome.
I had a general observation that I thought I'd throw out, and that for anybody that's been watching the invasion of Ukraine, what strikes me about the whole thing is, I mean, you get beat over the head from every mainstream media outlet over and over again, and you never hear another side to the story. And it just reminded me of the whole 9/11 media repeating itself every day, day in and day out. And I start to smell a rat on the side of the media and what they're trying to put across. And so it just, I'm not an expert on what's going on over there, but I mean, it just seems like a repeat of what they did with the Iraq invasion and meaning the West and how they presented it to the public. So anyway, just an observation. I don't know if anybody else felt the same way, but.
Well, while you were speaking, Kale and Ed raised their hands, so I'm guessing they have something to say about. So Kale, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to put it out there to beware of the false flags with the cyber attacks. It's looking like they're going to allow Ukraine to be invaded and then possibly use that to bring in the cyber attacks for our infrastructure. Just saying, false flags possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to my buddy Gil, who is from that area. His family is from there. His family were in concentration camps back in the day, and but we sat down on Friday night actually, and he gave me his point of view. We spoke for about, I don't know, a good 3 hours. All I can say is it's very complicated. The interesting thing is that people need to pay attention to China, from what I gather, because Putin is in a position where he is essentially trying to regain back the old Soviet Union that was prior to the fall of the Berlin Wall. And Crimea was taken back because that was given to, under previous regimes, that was given to the president of Russia's wife, or sorry, president of UK's wife, as a gift. Crimea was. And so Putin's taken that back because it was not there. It is to give, so to speak. That was a very complicated situation. But there's also the fact that when Trump was in office, and it's funny how the media paints Trump as this, and Putin as having this love relationship, like, oh, but, it was kind of smart for Trump to keep him close, because what was happening was that Putin has to go to either the US or China for support. And as long as he was given the impression that the US would provide some sort of support in whatever way, then it doesn't then it keeps China sort of like off the plane, off the board, so to speak. But because when Biden became elected, the relations between Russia and the U.S. got a lot more antagonistic, and so Putin's like, all right, fine, I'll just go to China. So they started working out deals with China. From what I understand, Putin visited China during the Winter Olympics, and he met with their leadership there. Don't know what they talked about, but then shortly after that, he invaded Ukraine. So, Trump was actually providing a wedge between Russia and China, and now that wedge is no longer there, Russia is free to deal with China and work out deals with them, and it gives Russia permission to pretty much do what he's doing, because any sort of intervention from the West will cause China to step in.
Mhm.
And that's the real danger.
Well, I'm hearing that this would embolden China to invade, to do the same thing with Taiwan. And I'm
Yeah,
not,
true. Yeah.
I really can't follow this stuff at all, but that's what keeps coming up. And that apparently is really the thing that everybody's keeping an eye on.
Right. Right. So that's probably the deal they have with there's probably some backdoor deal where Russia will support that, as long as China supports Russia in their involvement with Ukraine.
Right.
Well, the
So it's a very
irony
dangerous
is,
situation.
the irony is that how many countries have we invaded, and we're giving out advice to the
Yeah, I
Russians?
know.
Give me a break.
I know.
Right.
Don't get us started.
I mean, you go Libya, Iraq, Somalia,
Afghanistan.
Vietnam. I mean,
I
the
have a
list is
question.
endless. What?
I asked Sandra if I could ask her a question.
Go for it.
I heard like 40,000 or maybe 200,000 Chinese troops are training in Canada. You know that?
That's, I haven't heard that at all.
This was like a year, maybe a little more.
Well, I
Wow.
really don't know about troops. All I know is that the Chinese are buying up a shit ton of real estate over here. And it's been like that for about 5 years now. They're just everywhere.
This is that's a very good interesting thing you bring up. They're doing the same thing here in the U.S. And that was one thing Gil talked to us about. He said, look, you got to be careful about this infiltration, the subtle infiltration that's happening with these countries, including some of the Muslim countries have been doing it in Europe. And China is doing it here, so and some of the Muslim countries as well. But they have this. He talked about the ideology behind it, where in the name of Allah, pretty much everything is justified. So, and you have two ways to attack, either overtly or covertly. And right now, what they're doing a very slow, stealthy encroachment, where eventually, next thing you're going to wake up, you're going to find yourself in China, basically,
Yeah.
or in some sort of under some sort of somebody invoking Sharia law somewhere,
Yeah.
So, and that's actually happened in certain parts of the United States here, or I'm sorry, parts of Europe actually,
Yeah.
and little communities where they bought up, and only they can live in that community, so it pushes the rest of the cultures out.
It's really strange, and there's probably no connection at all, but it's just, I noticed this because outside of my regular job, I work in a newspaper distribution company. Once a month, I have to also, as a side gig, I have to go collect returns of newspapers and payments from all these stores in the city. So I go to about 110 stores every month after hours. And there's the big, there's the big chain, whatever, like your whatever, what are they called? Your drug, anyways, I don't know what your American names are. We have the equivalent over here. But then we have all these mom and pop stores. And all of these mom and pop stores that are just basically 911s, like they're all just these little, where you can, they're open 24 hours or very early to they're all, every single one of them is Chinese. And I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, because it's not like these are just small stores, right? But every single one of them, they're all Chinese. They're super nice. They're unbelievably kind and polite, and and, you know, fun to speak to and very grounded. And obviously, you know, they left China for a reason, but yeah, all of them, all Chinese, every single one of them. So I don't know if there's a connection there.
Hard to say.
Gail?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Ukraine being gifted. If we think back to Israel, the Balfour Declaration after World War II
Mm-hmm.
is basically like a military base for the Western countries to take over the Middle East, to secure the energy and blah, blah, blah. Going to war for lives, but a gift. I don't know. There's just red flags everywhere with this whole event. All I'd suggest is to just prepare for the chaos that they're going to bring with these false flag cyber attacks. It's going to mess with our food, our water, our energy, everything. But they're going to put the blame on all media-driven blame on Russia, China, Iran, U.S.
Oh, no, it'll be Trump's fault. It'll all be
They
Trump's
get
fault.
propagandized just like we do, the citizens of their countries as well. We know how it works, how the false flags work. And, you know, I'm not shy to say a new world order is forming. So, and they need to play each other like a chess game, you know what I'm saying? So people just need to prepare at home and communities, work together, because they're going to bring the chaos to bring in the order.
Yep.
But you know, Kale, what worries me about a cyber attack, aside from all the things that you mentioned, is communication breakdown.
Yeah, I know.
We
And my
can't
mom
communicate with each other anymore.
my mom is right near you. She's in St. Eustache.
Right. Yeah, you told
And
me that
you
a
know,
long time ago.
we just sent my mom, you know, solar panels and all these lights. Where she's at, her power goes out a lot. But like I told her, I said, Mom, look, they're gonna mess with the lights. They're gonna mess with your fuel, everything. You know, she knows, she's up to date and she's prepped. You know, but these are things to think about because they're gonna use that stuff to bring in the chaos. You know, it's Russia is propagandized just like we are. If you remember the Operation Paperclip, Mockingbird, you know, they're propagandized and prepped just like we are. So we know who the real ones are playing us like a pawn game while we're distracted on these leaders that are nothing but puppets. All of them, even Trump.
Who has the birds in the background?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Is that you, Kale?
Oh, geez, sorry. Yeah, we do.
That's hilarious. He has everything there. Look how blue those skies
gym.
are. That's unbelievable. Or no, that's your head. Oh, you guys got it made there. Hawaii, unbelievable.
We do, but oh man, the politics are crazy. Hardly anybody is just moving.
Oh, everybody, say, I guess we are live on Facebook. So if anybody, any Sunday after 5 Eastern Standard Time, if you want to hop in and be part of this, you don't have to be on camera. Go to 911warroom.com/Zoom. And
Are you getting any questions or comments in the feed?
I see Justin Green is watching. Hey, Justin. I don't know who else would hop in, but
Okay.
they do. Cool. And we just, it's like a lounge. We just want to, it's a round table. We just want to talk and discuss new events and activism. There's Ernie.
Yeah, and but speaking of activism, I just, before I came on the call, I got suckered into an ad that came across my feed because it said personalized tattoos that last for 2 weeks. So I checked it out. It was it's inkbox.com. And I'm sure this is, I mean, I'm sure this kind of stuff has existed forever. It just never occurred to me to get, these are tattoos that last about 2 weeks. They just fade out naturally as your skin regenerates. But you can personalize your own tattoo and you can pick any size, small, medium, or large. I mean, it's expensive. It's $22 for, I think, for a medium tattoo. It's less if you buy more, but I mean, this would, I fooled around with it. I uploaded the 9/11 Truth logo that you designed. You know, if there's ever an occasion where you know you're going to be out and about in the summer, like, you know, when you can actually show your skin and be seen by a lot of people or meeting a lot of people, then this seems like a really funky way to try out a tattoo that you don't want to get permanently necessarily.
Nice. I would try out the 9/11 face tattoo. like a 9 over my eye. My nose
Oh
would be
my
1.
gosh.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
I like, you know, it's funny. I like women with tattoos. It means they're not afraid to do something they might regret in the future.
right.
To
Yeah.
tattoo against the way Christ is, just saying.
Well, I mean, I've got my 7 up here. Can you see that? No, there.
Oh, yeah.
And
Or
my
maybe
7
not Christ, I mean the Bible. I'm sorry.
Right. Old Testament. All right. I still would like to get dinner before the founders call. If anybody, round table for everyone. It's going up on 6:30. That'll give me half an hour to get something to eat. Anybody?
All right.
Anybody got anything for the group for this week?
What is this call that you're going on? I'm sorry. Gene?
Oh, the Richard Gage 9/11 founders call. I guess if you want to be a donor to Richard above a certain amount, he
Oh, founders call. Okay.
yeah, he's just how to help him grow. I guess to sum it up, I think it's a blessing that Richard got let go, because now he can speak about whatever he wants to speak about. And that's not even just advocating for him speaking out on a pandemic, but whatever he wants to speak out on, go ahead and speak your mind. But he's now doing things like outreach for 9/11. He's having the online community hub, which, you know, I've been behind forever. He's with the lawyers committee now, actually going to do that documentary on the 60 exhibits to dramatize it or to really draw people in. He's you know, he is all go. He's action, action, action. And that's great. And it'd be great for him to be the face of the face man for the lawyers committee. With him and Mick, I think that'd be a good good pair up there. And I just
And Sandra, I didn't mean to come off maybe the wrong way you may have taken it. I just meant like, you know, I don't know, whatever the scripture says about that. And judge not to, sorry.
all good.
What? Okay, first of all, I never take anything badly. Please take a note of that.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
all good.
It also says we're not supposed to cut the hairs off the sides of our head and shave and all that too. Back in the Old Testament, there was, yeah, that'd be down a whole other rabbit trail right now. But back on Richard. I think he's going to move positive. I think he's going to do a lot more for the 9/11 truth movement, given this freedom.
Yeah, his energy is unbelievable.
It really is. And it's great that he's open to listening, because before he was stuck in that ivory tower kind of where people were telling him what to listen to and what to say. And I'm not saying any names. Andy steals an ass hat. But, anyway, Deb Lee, you're up.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi, Deb.
Good. How are you? You won't
Hey,
be,
you're right side up. And you're muted.
and you're muted again somehow. Now she's gonna unmute and flip upside down.
There we go. You know what? It was so easy to fix it, but the icon only shows up if you go on a certain page. There's a little icon up in the corner. But yeah, I got all kinds of comments from everybody.
Can
You know,
imagine.
I got my feet back on the ground. I did a 180, you know, all kinds of fun comments. Yeah, I'm just listening like I usually do, but and I'm like, should I say something? Should I not? Does it matter? Back on the Crimea, you know, Khrushchev gave the Crimea to Ukraine back in 1954, I think it was. And then, you know, from what I understand from my research, that after the Maidan protests in 2014, they put out a referendum, like basically a vote down in Crimea. And 95% of the people there voted to go back to Russia. They just thought it was better. And, you know, 95%, 98%. And people could say, oh, that's a big lie. But, you know, I looked into it. They had international observers there from different nations. And that's kind of what happened. They voted on it. But the media just continues to say Putin annexed Crimea, Putin annexed Crimea, as if it was some kind of military invasion. And they also at that time showed some fake footage of tanks rolling into Crimea, supposedly. But, you know, it was not tanks rolling into Crimea at that particular time. It was old footage, or it was another type of footage. Similar thing
Right.
happened.
Yeah,
So I just, you know, I'm listening to everything. It all sounds good. But when I hear something like took it back, he didn't really take it back.
Right.
It was a vote. So I just thought I'd throw in my little,
Thank you for the clarity.
you know, bring up the brain cells from 8 years ago when I was studying all that. And then,
Awesome.
and also, you know, that war's been going on a long time, and yeah, it is complicated. You know,
Mhm.
it's been going on really, you know, 2004 even, when something happened with NATO. But now they've been being pushed, Ukraine's been pushed into joining NATO, and Russia's like, I don't really want my neighbor country to be in part of an organization that's
Right.
against Russia.
Mhm.
And you know, it's complicated. But
It's funny you bring that up.
anyway,
There's a, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
that's all right.
No,
That's good.
no,
And
there was
I'm
a,
once it gets warmer, I'm going to be putting up more stickers. I'm telling you, my fingers are really cold with those stickers.
yeah,
Thank
one of the
you.
things my friend was telling me was that, you know, when you, even though after the fall of the Berlin Wall and all those, you know, Baltic countries sort of like became kind of Europeanized, I guess you could say, or became kind of no longer part of the Soviet Union. Even though geographically that was the case, but still they were still you know, culturally Russian, culturally, you know, economically this, and they're being supported by Russia. So they were still had this Russian sensibility about them, and it never really went away. In Ukraine, the eastern part of the country, I'm sorry, the western part of the country was it was in this new generation now that's come up with the technology and things like that, are no longer kind of hold on to those old Russian sort of sensibilities. But the older generations, from what I understand, do, and that's what creates the complication. But just because you have this geographic separation doesn't mean there's a um, an actual separation from a cultural
Right.
standpoint.
Yeah.
For anybody
Yeah,
who wants to get up to
oh.
speed on Ukraine, you should listen to Jimmy Dore interviewing Max Blumenthal. And this
Yeah, that's a great good
great
interview.
show that he put on. And he interviewed a guy from Donbass, this guy, Russell, Texas. I've forgotten his last name now, Benning, I think, or something like Bentley. And he's an American living in Donbass, and talks about what the neo-Nazis were doing to the Russian people in Donbass, and it's horrific what went on there. But it's a good counterbalance to what you hear in the media. I mean, it's very interesting.
Yeah, you know, other things have been flying around, like, you know, the cyber attack, like the fact that Putin was part of the World Economic Forum, you know, with all the other major countries, you know, Charles, you know, what's his name, Schwab.
Yeah.
So it's something going on there economically, and then other people are pointing out, well, we're all looking at Ukraine, you know, the WHO is creating this massive worldwide pandemic response plan, you know, which is kind of like 9/11, that's 2.0 or 4.0 or wherever you want to call it. You know, there's just something's up. Like,
Yeah, and there's
something's
also that
up.
where they're saying that the military labs that that Russia attacked in the Ukraine were all US biolabs.
I heard that too. Yeah.
So-
And now I've heard that I first speculated that it was going to be something with germ warfare, and now somebody in some other language I can't read is saying, no, this is has to deal with human biological like human trafficking, I guess, something along that kind of biological lab. So who knows? I don't know what to trust anymore.
yeah,
but,
and there's got to be so much we don't even know that we don't know.
But then everyone's took a stupid pill, I think, and forgot not too long ago. Biden said, hey, Poroshenko, if you send those investigators in, you're not going to get the $1 billion. And, He said, you got 6 hours and I'm leaving. And next thing you know, he goes, what do you know? The son of a bitch, there's no prosecution for Hunter Biden and his affairs with Ukraine. Like, oh my gosh, with everything that's just happened with Hunter and everything in Ukraine. And it's just like, wow.
Yeah,
There's,
Poroshenko's walking around with a Kalashnikov now, telling
Yeah.
everybody to take up arms.
yeah.
$2.4 million at least went to Ukraine through
Also,
Victoria Nuland. Victoria Nuland, also Trump kept Victoria Nuland there, and she's incredibly pro-Ukraine, which kind of, makes it look like everybody's in the same side. Because of course he's Putin's puppet is our word, and he, like we've been talking about his ties with Putin, but he also put Victoria Nuland in there, to ensure that a war will be posturing. So
fuck the EU, I think was their famous quote.
oh,
Could you imagine Hunter Biden
yeah.
screwing up so badly that he's probably the only person in the world where his father had to create an international incident to cover up his wrongdoing.
Oh, stop, that's terrible.
But
It's like,
international,
see what I'm willing to do for you, son?
Right.
Now shut up and eat your vegetables.
And while all this is going on, we still have all the Epstein stuff going on and human trafficking and stuff there too. And it's like, is all of this a global fight going on? Is this I'm just going to go there for fun. Is this the QAnon saying that they're trying to attach the global pedophile ring of Satanists? I don't know. There's definitely New World Order pushing. George Herbert Walker Bush.
Why not?
George Herbert Walker Bush wanted a New World Order. NATO would definitely be an arm in that. This graphic that I was sharing earlier. Let me share it again real quick. NATO in 1990. Is it going to crash? I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
Before my computer crashes, it looks like it is. We were here over by Italy. NATO was over just most. Oh well, so much for that.
Yep.
We got the gist of it.
Yeah, so I in my opinion, I don't blame Putin for what he's doing, but I also don't blame the Ukrainian citizens. They got the pinch in this. If the government of Ukraine's dirty, how do you surgically remove this corruption and not cause damage to the citizenry of a country? That's like right now, the United States is under a coup. I really firmly believe that we've been in a coup since Kennedy was assassinated, and if not before that. And these people are running the show here, and we're just
plus two.
Hmm.
+2.
Ed, you're muted, and I don't know what +2 means.
We've been in a coup since March 2nd, 1867. That's when it happened.
Monetary hijack.
67.
Well, it wasn't monetary actually. It was eradication of states
Dallas
under the 14th Amendment.
Oh.
And the illegal
Right.
and illegal ratification of that amendment because it was done under force of a gun. Literally, the military was sent in, kicked out the state governors and the state governments, and sent in a provisional government by statute. By the way, it's in the statute.
Now I got
under
another
Reconstruction Acts. Read the Reconstruction Acts. It's right there. I'll tell you the 5 military districts they created, kicked out the state governments, installed a provisional government, and then forced the ratification of the 14th Amendment and wouldn't allow the states back into the Union or representation in Congress until the 14th Amendment was ratified. Completely unconstitutional. And on the same day, passed the Army Appropriations Act, which eliminated all those southern states' militias. Completely unconstitutional as well.
All right, we got another rabbit hole to go on, but I got to eat before. Thank you for that. That is fascinating. I really enjoyed that. Deb, was that your hand up from before, or is it you got something new?
You muted.
Okay, she said it was an old one. All right. So
take care, guys.
Yep, thank you guys. Have a good night.
All right.
Kale, you had something to say?
Oh, remember too with JFK, you're bringing him up, fighting the bankers.
Yep.
We have foreign privatized bankers, families, bloodlines that are obvious globalists. Control of the money. They don't care about our laws or rules or constitution. And that goes with any country that they're in.
So then it
You know,
takes
That
it
coup
back
happened in
to,
1871.
1871, 1913, 1933. They're all key dates.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Eric,
Our
correct.
monetary hijack,
well,
they control
1912.
everything. Education, healthcare, military,
Yep.
you name it.
1912 is when they met on the island of Jekyll Island for
Yeah,
the
it was-
provisions of the
well,
Federal
no, it was
Reserve Act.
1910 in November.
Oh, thank you, Ed.
November 1910. Yeah,
Great.
it was December 24th, 1913 when they actually ratified it.
All right,
Aaron,
Rain
I
Man.
love
It was Christmas Eve. That's how you remember it.
Right on. Good night, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.